I just got done with a massive deep dive on one of the most misunderstood functions, features in PrintExp, DTF Station Pilot, or Hosonsoft, and that's Eclosion. Now, I'm gonna share with you some things I already knew and I just kind of confirmed with this test, things I was straight up wrong about, and some other things that I learned about Eclosion and give you some suggestions on what you can do in your shop. So let's dive in. Now, what is Eclosion? Well, the best descriptor I can give you is it's the way that it blends the different passes. Your resolution of your printhead or your pass count has to do with how many times the printhead or passes over a certain spot of ink. So if you have like a pixel of black here, the printhead's gonna pass over it 6 times if you're using a 6-pass mode. Now, I use a DTF Station Prestige R2 Pro, which uses i1600 printheads. The difference between this and like say an i3200 printhead based printer is that you have double the nozzles. So the i1600 has to do double the passes because it doesn't have 2 channels of each color. Now, DTF Station Pilot has a lot of Eclosion types, like way more than most machines I've seen. But as I've worked on a lot of different machines, I generally see fog type and strong A on almost every machine I come across. So those are the tests that I utilized. So I printed all of the modes. So off, light, normal, depth, super Eclosion on both fog type and strong A. And then I stumbled upon the custom option a long time ago, but I never knew what the relationship was between the percentages there and the normal named types. So I printed them to compare timing wise to see what percentages, what their equivalent type is. All right, here we go. This is in real time. The fog type is on the top, strong A is on the bottom. And you can see that the mode of off, especially once the white hits, that's a very distinct line between the passes. As you move up in the modes, so to light, normal, depth, and super Eclosion, you see a better blend between the passes. And that's where kind of the banding comes in sometimes with using a lower mode on the Eclosion. Now, one thing that I was very, very wrong about was I have always said that using strong A halves the speed. It does not. In off mode, you can see it's the same exact speed. In light, it's only 2 seconds slower. So that was one area that really surprised me. That's kind of an exponential ramp up. It's not a linear ramp up. So normal, we hit 51 seconds, and that's the version that I use most of the time and I set up in most shops is normal and fog type. Strong A was only 14 seconds slower than normal fog type, so that was pretty surprising. Now, one thing I did notice after I recorded this is the depth and super Eclosion look like they're the same. I'm 99% sure I accidentally had super Eclosion set for that depth recording. You will see at the end of this, I've obviously sped it up because it took an eternity. You're gonna see in a moment the exact timings or the timing of depth. All right, so here's our times. Now these are the percentage differences. Obviously your machine will have different speeds, but you can generally expect that these are the percentages that it's gonna slow it down using the different modes. So if you are printing in normal most of the time, if you go to depth, it's gonna be 50% slower in fog type. The ramp up seems to be a lot more dramatic with strong A. So just be aware that when you make changes, strong A is gonna have a more steep ramp up as you get to deeper levels of Eclosion. Now to show you where the custom mode percentages kind of land, basically fog type and light, and I only did the percentage test with fog type, but fog type and light was 18%, fog type and normal was roughly 60%. Fog type and depth was about 100%. You can go all the way up to 200%. 200% in fog type was the same time as strong A and super eclosion. So a couple of things that I already knew about, but just simply were confirmed for me, was number one is humidity and environment affect which eclosion mode you can use. So normally I print in normal and fog type, but when I did this test, I purposefully had my humidity low. I was down in like the 20-25% range, and I had a little bit of banding in my normal fog type. Under normal printing circumstances, when I've gotten my humidity up a little bit higher, I can very easily print at normal, sometimes at light. Another thing that I knew is colors don't change. I'm sharing with you a picture of fog type off and super eclosion strong A, basically the slowest version, and they both color-wise look the same, though the off does have some bandings. And the last thing, which is very, very misunderstood, is there is no more ink laid down. Like if you use a higher eclosion setting, it's not laying down more ink. It's just simply blending the passes better together, which gives you the appearance that things are a little more solid, but really there's no difference in the amount of ink laid down for any of these eclosion settings. Now, some things I was wrong about. I used to say that strong A halved the speed. It doesn't. It is slower eventually, but as you see from the data, it's not just a straight halving of the speed. Another thing that I had actually tested before, but didn't realize, like years ago, is that there are differences in the type. I used to think there was no difference between fog type and strong A, but there is. Now let's get to the things that I learned. I learned what the actual percentages mean compared to the named modes. And the biggest thing I learned, and the biggest thing that kind of surprised me, was strong A is actually a little bit cleaner of an image. I noticed a little bit more graininess in the fog type than I did in the strong A. And I'm gonna show you a picture under a microscope. You can actually see there's kind of more whitish areas in the fog type than there is in the strong A. So yeah, strong A is a better option. Well, I hope you learned as much as I did on this video, and I hope it gives you the tools that you can dial in exactly your best settings for your shop. But I know most of you are gonna want some kind of recommendation from me. So here's my recommendation. First, get your humidity in the right range, because if your humidity is running in the 40 to 60% range, you can run a little bit faster on your printer. So get your humidity 40 to 60%. If you have trouble with that, I have a video that covers that humidity topic right over here. But moving forward, I'm going to run, and I'm going to suggest you run strong A and the custom amount of 50%. Obviously, with the custom amount, you can change that a little bit and kind of find your perfect zone in your shop, but that's gonna be my kind of standard going forward. Strong A and 50%. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.